I wanted to go through and give you an overview as to what the CCA is. The final product is worth 30% of your overall mark and is really, really important. The purpose of the portfolio is to demonstrate all the work that you have completed over the semester and introduces a new piece that you are going to write specifically for this. It can either be a short story, a poem, or a personal narrative, or something along the lines of your own writing. You can find all of the information in your content under Unit 6, Activity 1. If you would like it to read it to you, you can absolutely do that. Please know that I have edited the information. So if you listen to it, that you just need to make sure you go through and listen or view the information because I've edited it and changed it. This is all information that is not necessarily related. It's good to think about if in terms of being a writer, but is not necessarily important to the completion of this activity. Your portfolio is included here. This reflection will be also included within your portfolio. And then this is just the completed checklist. Here's the Dropbox to complete that activity. So let's go through what it is. Number one, I want you to pick a format in which you're going to display your writing. Many students have chosen slideshows. I do want to give you the heads up that if you are putting your stories into slideshows, it's always good to put it in as links to the documents that you're creating. And the reason for this is that slides don't really read properly, and it's hard to read a short story cut up between 5 slides. And it often cuts off the information when it's formatting it and when you're submitting it. So it's often best if you can create your portfolio, if you are creating it as a slideshow, to create the documents and then insert them into the slides where I can click. The important part about that is ensuring that you have all of the documents open to view, and you will need to check your share settings if you are using that as an option. Other students have used, and I'm going to look in my downloads here. This was a student who created one that looked like pieces of paper. It was a document and it had some pieces within it. And I'm going to quickly skip through the student's name. I have permission to use it, but just want to skip through. Sorry, my computer's freezing a little bit here. There we go. And so what we have is a table of contents of the pieces that are going to be in. I'm going to go through that in just a minute. And then here are all of the pieces. They've also included a link so that I can even look at it through there. What you're seeing here is I can look at the piece, and then I'm looking at some of the other components that need to be cleared into that. And then the final reflection. So that was one example of the format in which you can have. Another format is a website. And so here is the menu of all the different pieces that I can click through, and the student has included all of those within the website. And again, if you're making links, you need to ensure that I can see all of those links, that if you're including a Google document, that I need to be able to see and view the document. So you need to make sure that in document settings in Google Docs that you're making sure those are open. I'm just going to quickly go into Docs just to show you what I mean by that. So when you create a Google Doc, we need to go into the share settings here, and in order to share it, it needs to have a title. And when you click on, if you're not doing it here, when you click on share, you need to ensure that you're saying anyone with the link, and that ensures that even if I'm viewing this outside of the board address, that I can see it. You don't necessarily need to change this part because I'm just looking at it. But now what you've done is you've opened that individual document so that I can actually see it. You can actually change some of those so that I can edit or change it. You don't necessarily need to do that, but you definitely need to make sure that every single component in your portfolio, if you're using Google or Google Docs, that I'm able to see that. Okay, So those are two examples of what the polished portfolio looks like in the final part. So you need to be careful in thinking about how you choose to demonstrate your writing and show off your writing, because you need to make sure that all the components are accessible and viewable. So after you choose your format, you are going to look for two pieces. One piece from short stories, one piece from poems, and this is your own work. You need to then ensure you have completed a personal narrative, which is Unit 5, Activity 1, and include that within your portfolio. So there are 3 pieces that you have written in the past that will be included as your writer's portfolio. The next part is you're going to include a new piece. It can be anything that you want. So you're going to have 4 written items in your portfolio that demonstrate your writing style. For each of those, you must include a preface. A preface is your own explanation. You can use the word I. It's written from your perspective, and you're explaining why you chose this work, as well as what this piece means to you, or why you think it demonstrates your best writing. So in addition to 4 pieces with a preface for each of them, you're also going to introduce everyone to your writing and your writing style, as well as at the very end, you're going to write a reflection. And the reflection, questions, prompts, you don't have to answer all of these, but you need to write a reflective piece about what you've learned or what writing is to you, etc. And these can be used as your guide. You don't have to respond to any or all of those, but you need to write a reflection about the writing process. So let's go through that again. You are going to have 4 written pieces with each of those. You're going to include a preface to explain why you've chosen that, and you're going to write a reflection. One little piece that I didn't talk about that I just want to address here is that if you would like to fix up any of those 4 pieces, you should and could include the original copies, and the part you include in your portfolio is the final part. In your preface, you can actually address whether or not you made changes from your first submitted copy to the final copy you're demonstrating within your portfolio. So that's one extra thing that you can do, and this should also be part of your written reflection. Okay, so those are the key components of your Unit 6 Activity 1 portfolio. This whole assignment is worth 30% of your mark. It is really important that you go through and look at all the different components and the ways that it's being evaluated in order to fully maximize that 30% of your mark. Okay, if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out. I have included in the newsfeed a couple of the items in terms of exemplars and or components that you need to include, that you can always go there. And this video will also appear in the newsfeed for you to review what is expected for the final culminating activity. I am quickly going to go, I will go back and just look at the due date for this. This must be submitted before the end of the course. I need time to be able to evaluate it, and you will lose all access to the course. You cannot submit it after the due date because you will be losing access to the course and your grades. So it's really, really important that you work on this after we get back from the holiday break and ensure that you complete this assignment.